Okay, Shishir Hattangadi joins us from Ahmedabad to perhaps make sense of what has happened in Pune. Shishir, what a day of Test cricket. 15 wickets fell. India are 298 behind. This must be one of the worst days for Indian cricket, especially at home.
Worst day that I can remember in a while, actually, Digvijay. It's something that was least expected. It was something that no one predicted, and in a sense, O'Keefe made us smell the coffee today, and we have to smell it now because we've got our backs to the wall. 300 plus on this pitch is going to be a challenge, but if India needs to show that they are a #1 Test playing team, this is their opportunity. They will need a lot of luck. They will also need a lot of resilience and obstinacy in the way they bat. But this is something that #1 teams look forward to do. And yes, the pitch is not going to help the way they bat, but this is an opportunity, and they shouldn't let the opportunity go, because they've got themselves into this position with a very, very ordinary day with the bat. And this is where I think we can look back, and if you look at all the dismissals, the critical one would be KL Rahul after being set. That really let us down and himself down.
Shish, let's try to get a lowdown on what exactly went wrong. This is the team which is unbeaten in their last 19 Test matches. They won 6 successive home series in a row, yet they go down and lose 7 wickets for 11 runs. That just isn't on.
It isn't on, it shouldn't be on, but it happened, and that is something that the Indian team needs to look at very critically if they are to value and take a lot of pride in the way they've played their cricket throughout the year. You will have your off days, but today was more than just an off day, and everybody would agree with that. Yes, playing in home conditions, you expect that you're going to maximize your strengths, but there is always a danger, and I kept saying that right from day one. The danger is that it can backfire on you anytime, and today we saw that those early wickets just dented India, and then that spell from O'Keefe, just India had no answers to what was happening, and got themselves into a rut that will take some coming out of.
We're actually going to look at some numbers coming up on our screen. These are the best performances by Australian spinners in India, Shishir. But at the beginning of this series, I asked you a question, and you said India should not be complacent. The build-up from the Australians was rather timid. Were India perhaps lulled into a sense of complacency, especially after how day one unfolded?
In a sense, you may be right, Digvijay, but the fact of the matter is, no one, you and me or anybody, or even Virat Kohli and Kumble, would have expected O'Keefe, looking at his record in Test cricket or looking at his record in the past. He's never been somebody that you'd lose sleep over before a Test match, but he's done it, and he's done it. And remember that takes you back to that spell from Michael Clarke in Mumbai a few years ago. 6 for almost nothing, and this is something that O'Keefe showed us, that if the pitch is responsive, if you take anybody lightly, this is Test cricket, and this is real Test cricket. They'll eat you up, and this is what happened today.
Shishir, hang on. Shishir, I just want to make a point here. I want to make a point here that India have been 45 for 3. They've been 25 for 3 before as well. But that famed Indian fight back did not happen. This wasn't Shane Warne bowling. This was some left-arm slow guy called Steve O'Keefe bowling. But he managed to land the ball in the right places, exactly like how Ravindra Jadeja does.
Yeah, Digvijay, on pitches like this, it's also important for bowlers not to get too ambitious and be patient. I think the Indians misunderstood the value of a patient bowler. They probably took him a little lightly and thought that he's not one who's going to sort of run through us. These are things that can happen, especially when you're on a high, and it's the greatness of this game that brings you down the moment you think you're on a high. Today is one such day, but I'm really hopeful that India can make a fist of this game. They might be having their backs to the wall at the moment, but they need to show why they're #1, and You know, they require a lot of luck. Yes, they'll require a lot of obstinacy in the way they bat, and they have to be selective in their shot selection, which they weren't in the first innings, to be honest. I mean, we've seen a few poor dismissals.
Also, Shishir,
and
if
ordinary
I could just interrupt you, what didn't feel right.
Yes.
Shishir, what didn't feel right was that somebody seemed to have punched that halo of invincibility that has surrounded this Indian team. Not just what happened with the bat, also on the field, you haven't seen the standards which we have seen under Virat Kohli and Anil Kumble. 4 catches dropped, shoulders drooping. When your backs are to the wall, you clutch at even half chances. Australia did that. Some great close-in catching from Peter Hanscom. That wasn't happening. This was a day when nothing went right.
Nothing went right, and you know, if you look back at today's game, what viewers would have seen and what cricket lovers would have seen is India under the pump, you know, and these are moments where you know, what you've done in the past doesn't matter at all. It's about today, being in the moment, and that is something India today, you know, they had let their key batsman, their captain Steve Smith, off a couple of times, 3 times. One was a half chance, but 2 were catchable, definitely catchable, and then what you saw was something that, you know, teams start believing in. When catches go down, you start believing that, you know, this could not be, maybe this is not your test match. And cricketers and sportsmen do believe at times that this is not going our way. So it was good that the break came in, and this is end of day's play came on, and they can come back fresh tomorrow and say, look, if we've got to get out of this test match, we've got to try to win it, otherwise we have no chance. And they will have to be positive. They'll have to be sharper in the field. They'll have to take their chances and make sure that, you know, whatever they undid in the last 2 days, that's yesterday and today, they make up for it in the next few days. Because if they don't, I think this test match is done and dusted.
You know, you spoke about Steven Smith. I just want to bring up some numbers here as well. We spoke about him yesterday as well. We didn't realize that he would have another chance to redeem himself within 24 hours, Shishir. It was a gutsy innings from him, also a chancy innings. But he also went past 1,000 runs against India in just 7 tests. He also showed why he is the #1 batsman in test matches, just ahead of Virat Kohli at the moment.
Yes, he's a unique kind of player. You know, he's not somebody that you'd put in the textbooks and the coaching manuals to say, you know, try and bat like him. But what you'd like to ape and emulate about his batting is his approach to batting. He's a busy player. He's positive. He plays the ball late. He's got a unique technique. But, you know, techniques are all individual in international sport. And as batsman, of course, he finds an answer to the question both bowlers keep posing to him. And that is so important. Despite the wicket, despite the bowling attack, you can always see Steve Smith looking for runs. And when you're looking for runs as a batsman, you're always going to create that pressure on the bowling side. And today he did just that. He was lucky. He was dropped a couple of times, 3 times, 4 times, whatever. But at the end of the day, he's 59 not out. And for me, that is going to be the defining innings in Australia taking the game away from India. Because today, if they had crumbled for about 100, 110, India would have still been with a chance, gone to bed or gone off the field saying, we are in this game. At the moment, the shoulders, as you said, have dropped and they have a long challenge to get the Aussies back into the hut. And with Steve Smith out there in the middle, they know if he bats a session, this game is over, you know, and this is something that Steve Smith looks to do. He looks to dominate, he looks to be busy, he tries to keep that scoreboard ticking, because on a pitch like this, every run is crucial, has to be scored by the opposition, and he's smart enough to know that as a batsman. And this is where I think Steve Smith's wicket is going to be so crucial tomorrow first thing in the morning, because he bats half an hour, we can just then write the obituary of this test match for India.
Yes, it would be Australia's first win since 2004, and perhaps that's the price India will have to pay for dropping him 3 times. Thank you, Shishir Hattangadi, for joining us. It seems that you and I are both going to have a much more relaxed weekend than we earlier thought. Okay.